Hi there, this is Daryl from Ottawa, Canada, and I got inspired by the comic book collector Facebook groups that I've joined to make a video as to what comics I collect from my subscriptions at the comic book shop. So I have a stack here of all the comic books that I've bought over the last month, and I'll go through them for you to let you know what I'm into. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you're a culture lover also in comic books, then you know what I'm all about. Anyways, here we go. First one we got here is the Uncanny X-Men, and it's been some very interesting stories now that Cyclops is kind of moving away from the fact that he killed Professor Xavier when he was possessed by the Phoenix Force, and now is this kind of underground hero and mutant protector. He has a very cool costume now. Like, the new design is pretty neat with the X for his eyes versus his old visor. So very cool stories going on right now. It's very interesting to see a lot of complex storylines, lots of drama, and things are moving along. It's very interesting. X-Men have always been one of my favorite superhero teams. I think that the fact that they're born with powers and have this sort of hatred and fear and discrimination against them is something that people identify with as teenagers, but also kind of like the people that are a little different in society. So we kind of relate to the X-Men. So good stuff there. Moving along. We have Wolverine and the X-Men. These stories are kind of neat. I remember when I was young, Wolverine was a very psychotic, brutal, and kind of feral character, and now he's become rather civilized, even though he still kills a lot of people. So it's very interesting to see what's going on with Wolverine now that he's kind of like the leader of the Jean Grey school, and, you know, being the one in charge and having to make the difference that he does. So it's some very interesting story with the new mutants who have come to the school to learn about how to deal with their powers and how to make a positive difference in society. So very cool stuff. Next up we have just the simple X-Men title. We have this big storyline going on right now with the future and Jubilee's adopted son Shogo, who he wants back. And this guy seems to be a very powerful guy. He definitely poses a serious problems to the X-Men. It's not like he's some easy villain they can defeat in one issue. He's got some serious strengths and powers behind him. So it's pretty cool to see what's going on with the modern X-Men titles. I love what's going on. Mutants are awesome. Keep it up, X-Men. There we go. Next up is the Powerpuff Girls. It's kind of like my guilty pleasure read. I like the Powerpuff Girls a lot. I love their animated series that used to be on TV. They're sweet and spice and everything nice, and I think they're good little heroes and a fun distraction from sometimes the serious challenges that life brings. So, Powerpuff Girls, cool stuff. Next up is the Ultimate FF. I kind of bought this one for the cover to see what really goes on in the Ultimate Universe. It's kind of different, but at least they're trying to do something creative in the way that the DC comic books has so many different universes and different styles of hero. I know in this universe, Reed Richards is kind of like a bad guy, and things are kind of different, and when heroes die, they stay dead. So at least they're trying, but I'm not really so much into it, but I respect them for trying to do something to, you know, do something different. So good for them, and for those who enjoy it, more power to you. Next issue I have here is Original Sin. Everybody has this, you know, Marvel Events storyline where the Watcher got shot, and it's like a big mystery, and everyone is going after suspects and seeing who did it, and there's being, you know, monsters being killed by a radiated bullet. So it's a very interesting story, and you know, I've been enjoying it, so I gave it a chance, and it'll be interesting to see how it ends. So there you go. Next up is the Hulk. It's kind of nice to see the Hulk still going. He's a very complex character with the genius of Bruce Banner and the sheer power and relentlessness of the Hulk. So the big storyline is wondering who shot him, and he went back to being a simpleton, and he risked losing his intelligence if he turned into the Hulk, and the irradiated abomination who had no sentience but was designed to be even more brutal than before and gave the Hulk a real run for his money. So interesting stuff. I love the Hulk, so keep it up, Marvel. It's very good. Next up is the Spider-Man Learning to Crawl. Not really so much into this. I love Spider-Man because he's one of my first superheroes, but relating the stories of the past and putting modern things in like the internet, I don't feel that it really works. Like, I think if they they should just reprint the classic stories rather than to do something that's already been done. That's just my opinion, but if you like it, then enjoy it. Next up is the Uncanny X-Men special. It's always nice to see Marvel making special issues or giant size issues just like they used to do in the olden days. So it's kind of cool that that kind of format has made a comeback, and good on the X-Men for delivering quality stuff. Next up here is the all-new X-Men, and as you can see, we have the original X-Men who were brought into the future still going. They still haven't figured out how to get them back to the past, and they have new costumes now, and some of them have gone off in very different directions. So it's pretty interesting to see what will happen, and with the future Brotherhood of Evil Mutants really causing trouble, it's interesting to see where it all goes. Next up is Star Wars, and it's been very awesome to see what Dark Horse has done with telling Star Wars stories. It's almost sad in a way that Marvel will be getting back the license and publishing Star Wars again. I grew up on the Marvel Comics, Star Wars comics, but Dark Horse has really set the bar high with interesting stories. This particular title is the stories between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, so it's very interesting to see what happened to the characters in those regards. Next up here is Star Trek. This is the based on the Harlan Ellison original teleplay for City on the Edge of Forever. A lot of differences from what happened on the television episode. So there's a difference in the story that in the television series McCoy had an overdose, and here it is about an Enterprise crewman being addicted to singing crystals, who led to different events than the television series. Next up is Star Wars Darth Maul. It's always interesting to see what is going on with Darth Maul since he made such a comeback in Clone Wars with his artificial legs. So it's good to see a Clone Wars story going on with him in it fighting the Sith. So very cool.